than 6 million Jews. What would you say to young people? And we're going to talk about this more later on during the second segment. But some of the things that you've said about it, do you think that young people ought to know information like you're talking about slavery and the Holocaust and et cetera? A lot of folks say that maybe young children your age or below really ought not to know that information. Do you think it's important that you know what you know in reference to these two events?
Well, it basically depends on two things. If their parents think they're old enough to know such horrible things, or if the child thinks they're too cool to know about their own history. So basically, if the parent thinks that the child is not mature enough to know that people were put in gas chambers and burned alive and died of typhus, a parent wouldn't tell a child because the child might be too young and that would traumatize them. Or the child would be like, nah, I'm too cool to know about my history. I don't want to know about no slaves. I don't care about no Jews or Holocaust or Nazis. And it basically depends on what the parent and the child think about both of the subjects. And so within that framework, you believe that in a real sense that both these instances represent what thing that you're big on, and that is the inhumanity of people toward inhumanity. And you think that by knowing about information like this, this can probably stop or curb the activity that people have in reference to that. In my own opinion, I think children should know about this, but the parents really have to watch out to think, is the child mature enough, or is the child too mature to know about this? It basically depends on the view of the parent and the view of the child. Go on. Mm-hmm. And they basically think that I've seen children who think they're too cool to know about their own history, that all they care about is these new rappers, Lil Wayne, think they're too cool to know about all the other ones, and they just think that they don't need to know about this. But when they grow up and if they want to become a historian, they can turn around and be like, I should have let my mom teach me about Anne Frank and Otto Frank and Harriet Tubman and Dred Scott, and they would turn around and they would think how they should have known about it. But the parent would probably regret it if they didn't tell the child in their younger years, because when they get older, they'll just go away and be like, I didn't know that Anne Frank wrote a book and all that, and they'll get it all wrong and be embarrassed that their parent tried to tell them something and then they refused to let their parents help. Very good. Alana, let me get ready for this second commercial break, after which we'll come back and I'll have you to expound on some other information that goes with these two topics, and that is this idea of bullying. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.